Update. My fiancé cheated on me, at least that is what I think. But she and her family think it is not a big deal because she stopped before anything happened. Original post. My 32 fiancé 32 went on a road trip with her friends. I know all the friends she went with, and I'm pretty good friends with some of them. While on this road trip, she called me just to let me know everything was fine, and that she and her friends would go to a club. The next day in the morning, my fiancé's friend Stephanie called me and told me she saw my fiancé go upstairs with a guy. According to her, she had been to this club before and there is a hookup spot upstairs. This is what she told me, that after 5 to 10 minutes my fiancé came down, and when she asked her what was going on, my fiancé said nothing. So she got suspicious and went upstairs and saw the guy absolutely wasted. After this call, I called my fiancé to ask her about this. She told me she was drunk and messed up, but nothing happened and she got out of the situation as soon as she realized what was happening. To me, it categorizes as cheating. And on that phone call, I told her I was breaking up with her. I didn't really listen to her after this and hung up. The same day but later, her family came over because my fiancé called them and explained her side of the story to them. They acknowledged that what she did was messed up. But since she stopped, this is salvageable and I should not throw away 10 years like that. The only reason I'm thinking about it is that they were genuinely comforting, aware, and not at all intimidating. Stephanie called me at night again and told me that my fiancé is extremely mad at her and trying to get her kicked out of the group for being a snitch. I think Steph did me a solid here, and I'm grateful to her. Even though she's her friend first, she told me. Right now, I don't know if I should dump her or not. The point where she took everything seems like cheating to me. The act itself is just an artifact, and the things leading up to it are just as important. I know for a fact that I cannot trust her. Even if there is some trust left, it is not enough to be engaged to her, let alone getting married to her in January of next year. She messaged me saying that I'm making it a bigger deal than it is, and that I should be grateful that she's this aware even when drunk to not cheat on me. But getting drunk is a freaking choice, and I will not really take it as an excuse. She is on her way back, and I don't know if I should just end it or try to work it out. Any advice? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Now for the advice. She wasn't going to tell you. Her friend did you a solid, and now she's mad at her friend because there is probably more that no one knows but her. I'm sure she told her family that PG story. Based on what your friend told you, your fiancé went up those stairs with full intentions of doing something. If your friend went up after your fiancé came down, and the guy was passed out, your fiancé didn't stop it. The guy's inability to stay conscious stopped it. This exactly. The only reason she stopped is because the guy is passed out, not because she was aware even when drunk. Why do you guys even think she stopped? She came down 5 to 10 minutes later. Despite how dudes brag, that's pretty par the course of how long it usually lasts. Multiple red flags here, OP. 1. Going somewhere with the intent of hooking up/intimacy is cheating. Not even physically going. Texting is considered cheating for a reason, so her logic is extremely flawed. 2. She gaslights you, not how healthy relationships work. 3. She intended to sleep with a guy who was completely wasted, aka unable to consent. Since she was aware enough to leave, she was aware enough to consent and to know that the other person cannot. Predatory vibes. Of course, her family will try to do damage control. Don't fall for it and end it. You deserve better. Also, getting mad at her friend for snitching is a red flag. When you mess up, you should be thankful to have friends who hold you accountable. Stephanie's your friend too. She did you a solid. Turn tail and run. Don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. You'll survive after leaving a 10-year relationship. Judging from your explanation of the club, I'd assume your soon-to-be ex has been there before, if she knew the layout, and that upstairs is for hookups. This might not be the first time she cheated, but the first time she was caught. Good luck. You know what you must do. And now for the update. If you are wondering, yes, I have free time. I'm on sick leave for my job. Getting to the point. I did a lot of thinking last night. Even though I made a post, it was more to validate what I already did. Maybe because I was scared to be breaking off a long-term relationship. After thinking about it and the events that happened afterward, I feel like I'm making the best choice for myself. I talked to both my ex-fiancé and Steph, and it solidified my initial response of breaking up. This morning when I and my ex were on the phone, she was convinced that I was being unreasonable, and my motive was to ruin her road trip. This tone persisted throughout the conversation. I still listened to her and she admitted she messed up, but it was not her fault. She just got drunk too much, so I can't really be mad at her. She also repeated that she stopped it even when drunk, so she's actually very faithful. When I asked her about the dude at his date, she never answered me. She also really didn't answer when I asked her what she was doing with someone who was passed out. In my mind, she being unable to answer these fact-based questions means she didn't get her story straight and think it all the way through. Last time when we spoke, she told me we can talk about it in detail when she comes back, which did indicate to me she was trying to fix it. But when I asked her today if she was on her way back, she said she'll come back in 3 weeks, and then we can talk about it and that I misunderstood her. Screw that. This kinda sealed the deal for me. There was no mention of Steph in this conversation. After that, I talked to Stephanie. My ex and her group moved forward with a road trip without her and didn't even tell her. She found out today when she woke up that all others had left. Kinda messed up in my opinion. I also asked her about the incident, and she told me that she'd made everyone aware of the hookup spot beforehand, so my fiancé knew what she was doing. Right now, I have many things going well for me, including my career. I work for a major airline and got into a high-level management position right before COVID. I don't want stuff like this holding me back, so cutting it off entirely seems like the way to go. Also, this is actually good for both of us. I can be in a proper relationship and she can go to hookup spots, stalk wasted dudes, and not do anything. Looks like a win-win to me. The funny thing is, at the very start, I wanted an open relationship and she shut it down. But years later, when in a monogamous relationship, she wants to pull crap like this. I did hook Steph up with a return ticket so she can get back home comfortably and safely. In the afternoon after her flight, she came over to talk about everything. I told her I was fine and thanked her for doing me a solid. 1.5 to 2 hours in, my ex sent me a message of her Snapchat location map and asked me what she was doing in our home. I told her she just came over to check if I was doing fine, because to most people, infidelity is a big deal. But I also corrected her that it was my home, and that she would move out when she gets back. Now I just have to focus on myself for now and wait and see if I live to regret this decision. Also, for people in the last post asking me, yes, to me that was cheating. And to those 3 to 4 people, screw you. You can't tell me how I'm supposed to feel my own emotions. Only I decide that. A real man doesn't feel emotion, my butt. Congratulations for standing up for yourself. It sounds like your ex's family dealt with this issue more maturely than your ex. If she and her relationship were worth fighting to repair, she would have prioritized that, and she would have come straight home to try and repair it. The pattern of truth creep is worrisome. 1. Nothing happened. 2. Something happened, but it wasn't bad. 3. Something bad happened, but it wasn't my fault. 4. It was my fault that something bad happened, but you must forgive me. 5. You and Stephanie are the real villains in my creeping quasi-confession. Don't second-guess yourself. This was cheating. Here's a shout-out to Stephanie, this year's winner of the No Good Deed Goes Unpunished award. She keeps saying she stopped herself from cheating, but it sounds like the only reason they didn't go all the way was because the guy passed out before they could do anything. The intent was clearly there on her part, and in my opinion, it was more than enough. I'm also throwing it out there that if she had done something, it would have absolutely been a crime. So it feels like she's trying to get a I didn't cheat award for not violating someone. Like, yay, she's not willing to commit an absolutely horrible crime. That means she's amazing, and OP/friend are monsters for being mad at her when she didn't even do it. Sorry, and at the same time good for you. Just make sure you pack her things in garbage plastic bags and drop them at her parents' house. Make sure you change the lock. This mess ain't over for her. I need to give her notice at least 14 days. After that, she is her parents' problem. Perfect timing. Just in time for her to return from her road trip. Give her notice now. Absolutely messed up. Sounds like everyone in that group, except Steph, is planning on doing a bunch of questionable things on this trip. If the other women are in monogamous relationships, you may want to warn their partners. Also, sounds like Steph may need a new friend group. Invite her along to your friend things and hang out with her. She sounds like a genuinely good human/bro. Good job dodging a bullet. Sorry it took so long to find out she wasn't a keeper. Now for the last story. Update. My 31 female husband, 32 male cheated on me with his ex and only gave me a half-truth. Original post. In mid-February, my 31 female husband, 32 male of 8 years, went away on a camping trip with his friends, one of which was his ex-girlfriend from college. A few days after, he came clean that he made out with his ex while he was there, but his word didn't mean anything. They were just both drunk. He hasn't contacted her since, and he only loves me. Before we had a chance to sort through that, my mother had a bit of an accident, and not long after, she passed away. Anyways, about 7 months after my mom's death, so October, I actually ran to his ex while I was grocery shopping and asked me if we could talk maybe over coffee. I wanted to decline, but she was pretty insistent. She was basically in tears, apologized for sleeping with him, and explained that it didn't mean anything, that she had no idea we were still together because they hadn't kept in contact until that trip, and said feels even worse it happened so close to my mother's passing. So I then find out he lied on 2 fronts, so I confront him again. He tells me that he was going to tell me about sleeping with her, but I was so upset, and he didn't want to lose me, so he thought it was best to wait. Then after what happened to my mom, he couldn't bring himself to tell me at all. He then explained he only talked to her once over the phone because she recently broke up with her fiancé, and all her friends were on her fiancé's side. But he immediately told her that his wife's mom just died, and he couldn't help, and then blocked her. He even showed me on his phone that her number was blocked. And he didn't tell me because I wasn't doing well following my mom's death. For the last month, I have been pretty cold to him when our son, 7-year-old, isn't around, because I couldn't really face him. And when using our laptop, I found in the search history how to win custody for fathers, and I had a panic attack. I didn't understand what to do. I considered taking our son and staying at my dad and saying nothing, but I just couldn't. Last night he came home extremely drunk, and he usually doesn't drink, trying to sneak in without waking me. But when I caught him, I figured it may be best to question him now because he probably couldn't lie. He just got a few drinks with work friends after, which I don't doubt. He ended up breaking down and saying that he does love me, but for a bit he just felt bored, and while drunk he made a bad choice, and immediately after he regretted it because he knew he only wanted me forever. I then asked about the custody thing, and hastily explained he thought I was going to leave him because of how I have been acting, and that he had no plans of ending our marriage, because he would wait as long as it took for me to forgive him. This morning he tried to apologize for last night, but I said it was okay, just don't drink so much again. Now he is at work and I really feel like I should forgive him, but I don't know if I am being naive. Other than this one thing, he has been an amazing husband for 8 years, and I do love him even if I have been pissed with him right now. Should I forgive him? Now for the top advice before reading the update. The fact that the affair partner showed you more honesty instead of someone who swore to love and value you for the rest of your life should be enough to tell you where this relationship stands. I wish you love and peace. You deserve better than this. I'm hearing lots of explanations and excuses, but not really much by way of, here's how I plan to earn your trust back, or here's how I'll keep this from ever happening again. I'm seeing lots of pretty words, but very little action, OP. Beware. Yeah, the last night he came home extremely drunk bit really makes me wary. If I cheated on my partner while drunk and was trying to redeem myself, I would cut that nonsense out for good. But this guy just sweeps it under the rug with a lie, and then is back to business as usual? Nah. That's true. I'll have to discuss this with him because if he seriously has no plans to actually fix things in the future, why should I be the only one trying to fix this? Thanks for the insight. He hasn't owned up to what he did. He used the things you were going through as an excuse. If he was truly sorry, he would have owned up to it all at once. He's selfish for doing what he did because he admitted that he didn't want to lose you. It's not his decision to make. Even after he confessed, he fails to use proper communication and went behind your back to find how to win a custody hearing. He doesn't respect you. If someone is bored in the marriage, then tell them, or find ways to spice it back up. Cheating shouldn't be a solution. I agree. He probably should have confessed it all at once. And the fact that he kept that lie is something I should probably weigh more heavily, because he did selfishly take my choice. I could maybe understand looking into how to win custody, because I do know at the very least he loves our son. But you are 100% right, he should have discussed all this with me. Thanks for the comment. And now for the update. So the night I wrote that post, I decided to talk with my husband again. I asked what are we going to do to restore trust, and I suggested marriage counseling. He told me that would be a waste of time and money. He said it was a single mistake and that he doesn't need counseling for that and I'll get over it in time. I told him I had trouble feeling close to him like I once did and that I had a hard time trusting him, so I didn't think we did need it. He just said that he has been trying his best to be nice about this, but has been nothing but good to me for 8 years, so he's done trying to make me feel better. I just said fine because he was getting really angry. Besides, I said what I needed to. The next day after I got out of work, I packed mine and my son's stuff, picked him up from school, and went to stay at my dad's. That weekend, I got a call from his ex. Turns out, my soon-to-be ex-husband called her screaming that it was her fault, that she recorded part of the call. She also said she wanted us to reconnect, so we have actually become friends again, like we were in college. Well, that's where I'm at now. I have a long divorce ahead of me and I'm guessing a ton more therapy, but I'm happy I'm dealing with this now. This wasn't an issue that will fix itself. Thank you all for the advice you gave. Edit. I didn't mention it in this post, but because of some comments, I thought I would. Regarding the night where he cheated, when they slept together, she did not know that he was married. She wouldn't have slept with him if she did, and he seems to have been the one that was pushing for them to sleep together. While I appreciate some people are looking out for me, I'm sure that I don't need to be wary of her. Good call, because this right here, and I'll get over it in time, means he doesn't give a damn about how you feel or what you did. Now he can get over the divorce, in time. I'm so sorry you had to go through this. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I lost both of my parents this year within 7 months of each other, so I feel for you. You absolutely made the right choice. He isn't willing to go to therapy for your benefit and to help regain trust, and he wasn't even allowing you to be angry about the affair and his lying. He sounds emotionally stunted and unwilling to change. I'm so sorry this happened to you, but happy you got out. I know people threw the term narcissist around pretty carelessly on here, but he is a narcissist. He doesn't understand or care how his actions impact others. All of his language was me, me, me. He only cares about how the situation that he created with his own actions is affecting his happiness. I'm so glad that you are getting out. Don't put off getting a lawyer. Do it as soon as possible and not as soon as convenient. A selfish and self-absorbed person like your soon-to-be ex-husband is going to try to screw you over in a divorce. So the earlier you know how to protect yourself legally, the better off you are going to be. Love all how that talk about loving you and not wanting to lose you went right out the window as soon as he actually had to put his money where his mouth is. Good luck with the custody battle, miss. You and your son certainly deserve better.